When a triangle is not a right triangle, law of sines explains the relationship between the three sides and three interior angles of the triangle. So let's take a look at the triangle in the picture. So there are three angle measurements. We use capital letters A, B, C, and then there are three side measurement. We use lowercase a, b, and c. So what is law of sine? Law of sine is very simple. So law of sine is basically the equality of three fractions. So we have sine a. So all the capital letters represent angle measurement. All the lowercase letter represent the length measurement. So we have sine of A divided by A equals to sine of B divided by B equals to sine of C divided by C. Let's take a look at the locations of A, B, and C. So A, we have angle A, and then the side A is on the opposite side of angle A. We have angle B, and then the side B is on the opposite side of angle B, and then we have angle C, and then the length C is on the opposite side of length C. So let's how do we use this formula? So to use this formula, here is how we do it. We take two pairs. So let's say we know we have sine of A divided by A equals to sine of B divided by B. You plug in the A and B, but there is one unknown. So you plug everything in and then you solve for the unknown. So we can have sine of A divided by A equals to sine of C divided by C. Sine of B divided by B equals to sine of C divided by C. So basically is you plug in everything you know and then you take two fractions, set them equal to each other, and then you solve for the only one unknown. So again, I said that we solve for one unknown. So let's say we know the givens for A and B. So you can have sine of A. So let's say you have sine of A divided by A equals to sine of B divided by B. All right, I'm trying to use this. So let's say angle A I don't know. So I keep that as sine of A. And then length A, let's say that is equals to 10, and then sine B, so that is equals to 40 degrees, and then length B is equals to 12. And then all you have to do is you solve for A. All right, so this one is solvable because there is only one unknown. So what if you have this? You have sine of B divided by 18, so you don't know angle B, equals to sine of C. So let's say C is 100 degrees divided by C, but you don't know length C. Is this solvable? The answer is no. This one is not solvable because we cannot solve one equation with two unknowns. So how do we solve this? So let's change color real quick. So to solve this, we have to use cross multiplication. So cross multiplication. So cross multiplication is easy. So basically you have A divided by B equals to C divided by B. So when you cross multiply like this, you have A times D equals to B times C. And then you solve for the unknown. So we are going to use this method a lot in cross multiplication. So speaking of a triangle, so back to the previous lesson, we discussed right triangle trigonometry, right? So right triangle is one of the interior angles is 90 degrees. So look at the blue triangle again. Which angle is 90 degrees? The answer is none of them. So angle A, B, and C, none of them is a right angle. None of them is 90 degrees. So this is not a right triangle. So since this is not a right triangle, there is another name for this triangle. So we call this oblique triangle. Oblique triangle. So that is the name of this triangle. Law of sine applies to three types of oblique triangle. So they are ASA. ASA stands for angle side angle. So angle side angle is you know two angles, and then you also know a side. So ASA, angle side angle. And then the other type is SAA. So SAA is you know one side and two angles. So you know a side and then an angle and then an angle, SAA. And then the last type is SSA. So SSA is side angle. So this should be SSA, not SAA. So side angle. let's take a look at a simple example. So in the simple example, we have these problems. So use the given conditions to find the rest of the side and angle measurements. So we have angle A, we have angle B, and then we have side C. So every time I solve this, I will just quickly draw a not a right triangle. I will just quickly draw a triangle. The scale, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let's draw a side, and then this, and then this. Okay. So this one, A, B, and C, right? So they go from left to right. So this is a A, 40 degree, and then B is also 40 degree. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. And then C, big C, we just don't know. And then on the opposite side of angle C, we know this is a 2. So this is angle A, right? So this is lowercase a, and then this is angle B, then this is lowercase b. So that's all we know so far. So what is the sum of 3 interior angles of any triangle? So triangle, right? Tri means we have 3 interior angles. What is the sum? The sum of the sum of 3 interior angles is 180 degrees. So that means 40 plus C must be equals to 180 degrees. So since we know 2 of the angles, then angle C is equals to 180 minus 40 minus 40. So that is equals to 100. So C is equals to 100 degrees. And then we are going to use law of sine to find the rest of the measurements. So far we know everything about A. So here is what I am going to do. I am going to do sine of A, which is 40 degrees, divided by, oh, actually I don't know A yet, but that's fine. So divided by A, and then C, we know the whole pair. So we know the angle C, which is 100 degrees, and then length C is 2. So this is one equation with one unknown. I can easily solve for that. So how do you apply cross multiplication? In case you don't remember your cross multiplication, let's do a simple example really quick. So let's say we have 1 divided by x equals to 1 divided by 2. So clearly x is equals to 2, right? How do you do cross multiply? So you multiply the 2 and 1 and the x and 1. So 1 times 2 is equals to x times 1, right? So you have 2 equals to x times 1, and then you divide both sides by 1, so x is equals to 2. That is how we solve it. So we use cross multiplication right here, and then we have 2 times sine of 40 degrees equals to A times sine of 100 degrees. All right, and then you solve for A. So A is equals to 2 times sine of 40 degrees divided by sine of 100 degrees. So this one, you have to use degree mode because the angle measurement is in degree. So use your graphing calculator. Do you see that there is a mode key right next to second? There is a mode key. The mode key is right below the window key. If you are using a scientific calculator, the one that cannot do graphing for you, there must be a mode button. Look for it. There must be a mode button. So you press the mode. So in case mine is between the second and the delete, so mode. And then do you see that they have notation, decimal, and angle? So at this point, my angle is in radian. Look at my calculator right now. I am on my calculator, not on my notes. Radian. So radian, I have to switch to that degree. So I simply press degree. And then in my calculator, I have to press the X right next to mode to quick. But in your graphing calculator, you have to hit second mode. So let me quick first. So do you see that there is quick on top of mode? So once you press second and mode, it will quick. So second mode means you just want to go back to the home screen. So now we are ready to do the computation. I'm trying to avoid all the round off error. So we will do the whole computation in one click. So we have 2 multiply sine of 40 degrees and then close parenthesis divided by sine of 100 degrees. And then you press enter, then that is your answer. So for the length measurement, let's keep 2 decimal places. So A is around 1.31. So now I got A. So I know everything about the A and everything about the C. And then you are trying to solve for the lowercase b. So this one for the pairs, you can either use A or C. So A or B. So since I just found A, I'm trying to use A. So you can do sine of 40 degree. So this is big A, and then small a is 1.31 equals to sine of 40 degree. So this is a sine of 40 degree. This 40 is big B. And then small b, we don't know. So this one is one equation with one unknown. The equation is solvable. And then you do cross multiplication. So b times sine of 40 degree equals to 1.31 times sine of 40 degree. And then you have b equals to 1.31 times sine of 40 degree divided by sine of 40 degree. So this one sine of 40 degree is cancelled. Then b is just equals to 1.31, and then the job is done. We found small a and small b, and then we also find the big C. What is another way to do it? Another way to do it is you use C, big C. So another way to find B is you have sine of C. C is 100 degree divided by length C. That is equals to sine of big B divided by small b. So this one b is equals to what? You cross multiply the 2 and the sine 40, right? So 2 times sine of 40 degree, and then cross multiply the b and the sine 100. So you have to divide it by sine of 100 degree. So that gives you 1.31 as well. So just two different ways to do it. So in case you don't trust me, so let's prove this using my calculator. So 2 times sine of 40 degree, and then divided by sine of 100 degree. So that equals to around 1.31. So that is another way to find B. So this is a basic introduction. In the next video, I will show you more complicated example.